All right, guys, we're ready to roll. It's about 7:34, so we'll go ahead and get started. We just had a couple items we wanted to touch on today, more of a little bit of training, and I'm recording this definitely because a couple people actually need some of this information, and that's why we decided to take care of that. So I listed what was called mindset. I want to hit mindset a little bit, and then I'm going to do a little bit about with three-way technology, although most of you guys on the call may already understand it, maybe not, because sometimes it gets a little confusing. And then Ann's going to just briefly show how to check out a customer, because that's still confusing for a lot of people through your back office. And then that's pretty much it. So we should be able to wrap up in 20-25 minutes. So I'm going to share my screen and just talk a little bit about mindset, because that's really important. I have a lot of folks seem to struggle with what I refer to as mindset because of, I guess the best way to put it is that everybody just gets kind of wrapped up in life, and you don't know where to go. So what ends up happening is you end up doing nothing, right? Everybody on the call, whether you're going to listen to it recorded or not, has the same 24 hours in a day. And I hear all the time, and you guys know, we talk about this many times, I'm really busy. I got this going, that going. Everybody's got the same 24 hours in a day. And it's just, I talked to somebody else yesterday, and I won't mention who it was, but just, I think people almost get frozen because they don't know what to do next, or they're not doing anything next, so to speak. So they kind of just get frozen and do nothing. And I get that, because we've all been through it. Sometimes people get wrapped up in, especially new folks, I'm trying to learn about the products. And you guys have all heard me say this, especially, you know what, you're better off not knowing much about the products, because you actually can do it the right way, not knowing a lot, because that's when you'll utilize the three-way call and the validations. But as soon as you know a lot about the products, you start running down that rabbit hole and trying to answer the questions yourself. We'll talk about the three-way call in a minute, though. But there's a good friend of mine. Her name's Marilee Marisich. It's a tough one to say 5 times fast, right? You guys that were in Kansas City, I think she was on stage then, but she talks about, and I was just going to wing this and talk about mindset myself, but I happened to see this email, and I just want to touch on a little bit. But she talks about 5 strategies with mindset. The first one being growth isn't automatic. You need to be intentional about it. You guys all have heard John Maxwell. He always talks about intentionality, and you want to be intentional. That means that you got to be intentional with doing something every day, and that includes growth. Dive into personal growth by reading, listening, training, attending the events. Immerse yourself in the learning about the company's products, but don't think that you have to not do anything in the meantime while you're learning about the products, right? Know the company's story, which parlays into your story, okay? And in general, the industry of network marketing, you want to know a little bit about it, because people are going to try to they're going to try to talk you out of it, or they're going to say, well, network marketing is a pyramid, and you guys understand that. And this is where it's so critical that you tie in a three-way call. How many three-way calls have you done in the last 2 days? She's done
I've done, I think, 4 in the last 2 days.
Yeah, like 4 in the last 2 days. And they've all gone very well, and these people are starting to see success because they're really using the three-way call the right way. And actually, we'll touch a little bit more about that. But the personal growth part, and I know, Lewis, I know you're big in personal growth. You do a lot of reading, and that's fantastic. Along with that, don't get tied up in just only personal growth, and we all know that, right? So spend your time on personal growth, but also spend your time on building your business. Relationships. You become the average of 5 people that you associate with. I kind of like this because I think about it ourselves. So everybody on the call, everybody on our team, you already have 2. So you got Ann and I, so you only need 3 more good people. Okay. So if you consider us good people, but surround yourself with around the people that are going to inspire you and are going to help you to grow. People that you want to emulate, that type of thing. You don't want to hang around with people, and it's kind of a nasty way of saying it, but losers that'll just drag you down, or they're going to not support you and that type of thing. You want people that are going to support you, and they don't necessarily have to be part of our industry and LifeVantage, but if they are, great. I mean, some of you guys have befriended other people and outside legs and things like that, and that's okay. Those are people you want to hang with. Those are relationships, whether it's your spouse, they don't even have to be part of the company or want to do LifeVantage, but if they support you, that's perfect. Okay. Set proper expectations. And this is really good. You talk about, let's see, they talk about being bad before you're good. And we've heard this from Stage, right? A lot of people are afraid to make that next step because they think they have to be good at what they're doing. You don't have to be great. I mean, it takes a long time to learn everything. And this is why you really want to use that, like we always talk about ITT, invite, tool, and team. You invite, you use the tool, which is the video, and then reach out to somebody on your team and let them take it away from there. The technology part, you don't need. I mean, really, you guys all know that we have a huge Amish team. They don't have technology. In fact, half of these guys and gals are using the three-way call from a flip phone still, but somehow they make it work, right? So the technology piece does not have to be there. So the proper expectations, you got to be able to grow. She talks about have a long-term vision, stay the distance and stay the course. If you start to go off a little bit, just get back on course. Just reset yourself. Even if it's been a few months since you've done anything or a year since you've done anything, just hit the reset button. Understand this is an emotional business, and it surely is, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you can have a great month, and then the next month might be kind of flat. So what do? You just hit the reset button. There's highs and lows. Allow the journey and have fun while you're doing this. This is truly a journey, and we talk about that all the time. Lewis and I talk about that quite a bit, about the journey. Clear vision and goals. This is huge. So you want to chart your course, guys. Where do you want to be by Long Beach? Be realistic, but set a goal and say, I want to be a pro whatever by Long Beach, and then go after that goal. You got to be crystal clear. You got to write the goals down. And if you don't write things down, guys, you won't follow through. We talk about putting sticky notes on your mirror and that type of thing. It may sound cheesy, but it's okay. Put a sticky note where you brush your teeth every morning and you look up and you'll see it, just to maybe give that first in the morning vision, right? Which is pretty important. If you can see it, you can achieve it. That's the reason you write it down. That's why we talk about when you're making a list of 5 or 10 people, a lot of people try to put it in their phone or something like that. You write it down on a pad. That's still the most important way of doing it. And then lastly, commit, take ownership. This is cool. We've always heard this from Carrie Dickey even. If it's going to be, it's up to me. If we don't grow, I can't blame Ann. She can't blame me. You just have to look in the mirror and say, if I'm going to do this, I got to do it, right? You got to be the best distributor on your team. So we need to be the best distributors on our entire team, and you guys need to do the same thing. And it doesn't matter if you have no distributors under you or if you have 1 or 2. It doesn't matter. They're going to follow the leader. They're going to follow. If you're doing nothing and not growing, they're not going to grow either. So it's extremely important, okay? You set the pace. Nobody's going to work harder on your dreams than you, and that's a fact. I mean, these are your individual dreams. You need to commit to what you want. I say it all the time when we talk about the writing down your why. People write it down. You really need to have a good why, because you're going to go off track a little bit, and you got to look at that again and say, why am I doing this? Do I really want it? Do I truly want to do it? Okay. So that's just a little bit about mindset. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it, guys, but sometimes it's just good to reconnect, because I've had a couple conversations the last few weeks with people kind of going off course a little bit. And then I talk about mindset. I talk about commitment and goals and why do you want to do this?
So real quick, actually, along with this, I saw this quote last night, interestingly enough, from my youngest son, Tyler. He had posted it on his Instagram, and I thought, you know what? That's such a good thing to remember. And so I took a picture of it because I want to remind myself of this. And I think all of us can relate to this. It's, don't be afraid to start over again. This time, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. So in other words, we're taking what we've done and the mistakes that we've made, and we're learning from those, and we're moving on, and we're starting again with knowledge and not just from scratch.
That's good. Did you write that down?
I got a picture.
And that's important. And it really, and I say it all the time, the person that talks to the most people wins. If you're not talking to people like we all discussed, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get to a three-way call. You're not going to get to a close. You're not going to get to a follow-up if you're not talking to people. So don't be afraid to share. I mean, we even run into situations where, the other night we were out and we were having dinner, and somehow we got in a conversation with a couple there, and I'll admit it, I never brought anything up. And when we left, I was like, son of a, you know what? I never mentioned anything because we were on some track of a conversation about families and things. And when I left there, I realized I never even brought up what we do. And I kind of kicked myself the next day. But the good news is I have the guy's phone number. So I never leave anybody without getting their information. So I have their information. I'm definitely going to reach back to them.
That's just building a relationship a little bit before going into.
Before you go in. Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit and let's talk about the three-way call technology. This is not rocket science. You guys pretty much all know this, and I'm going to try to just move this around real quick. But
we do have new distributors on the team that might not be on today, but don't really understand how to do a three-way call. And so with the recorded Zoom here, they'll be able to.
So what I'm showing actually is a picture of Ann's phone that I took. This is, you see my high-end technology. This is real rocket science. I took a picture of her phone and I put it on the computer. So she's calling me in the first, over here on my screen left. I don't know which way you guys are seeing it, but you'll see my name, husband. I don't know what that's about. So she's calling me, and then she's the administrator of this three-way call. So she's reaching out to me, and she's going to then add a call. So in this case, in the bottom left, you'll see add call, the plus sign. You guys have seen this. Some people have not. You hit add a call. It'll kind of go blank, if you will. Almost it puts me on hold, and then she can go ahead and she can go to her contacts and call, in this case, Michael. Mm-hmm. Okay. And she's going to dial Michael's name because it's in her contacts. And I highly urge you to have people's names in your contacts. And by the way, everybody that's in my contacts related to LifeVantage has an LV before it. So I have LV George, I have LV Andy, I have LV Lewis, I have LV Kent, I have LV, Gina, you name it. Everybody, because if I hit LV, all the people will come up instead of my other 5,000 contacts. Yeah. I don't like all those other people, just LV. So that's what I do. So I pull up, we pull up Michael, he picks up, and Ann goes ahead and she hits the merge button right here. Merge.
They can't see your finger.
Well, but I'm sure you understand where the merge. You see the merge button. It's two arrows that come together again, bottom left. And at that point, all three people then are connected, and that's the simple technology of it. So you make the call, and then many times it depends which way you're going. For example, and I'll let Ann share with this about Henry. So we have a guy on our team, Henry Swery. He's a Amish guy. So he has no technology other than his flip phone, but he's able to do three-way calls from his phone. I'd love to check out his phone to see how up to date it is. I know it's not an iPhone, but at any rate, what he'll typically do is he'll reach out to one of us and say, are you available for a three-way call at 1 o'clock this afternoon? Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. Today I was not, but Ann was available. So she said yes. The one thing we tell people all the time, and she told Henry, if the three-way does not go off and falls through, just reach us back real quick. And it's the same courtesy with you guys. If you're doing three-way calls yourself, shoot a text and say, hey, the three-way is not going to happen. Because I know for her and me, when somebody asks me to do a three-way, I'm finding a quiet spot.
And putting life on hold.
Putting life on hold, right.
So maybe I might have gone to go to the grocery store, but instead of doing that, I'm staying put so I know that I can be in a quiet place. So
right, exactly. But normally, like in Henry's case, he would have called his potential distributor or customer first. Okay, so the call would have gone, instead of to husband, me, it would have gone to Cindy, or whoever that person is. And then the merge call would have been to Ann. And then the edification part comes in. Why don't you say real quick what Henry did?
Well, Henry actually does a really good job of this. He, sometimes if he has enough time, he'll give me a little background information prior to him calling that person on on the person so that I know ahead of time, is this person really interested in product? Is this person interested in the business? Has this person seen a video? Has this person seen nothing? So I get a little bit of background, but when he gets me on the phone, he says, Ann, I'd like to introduce you to Katie. And then he tells me about Katie, and he told me, you know, how she was very interested in all natural supplements and holistic healing. And she's also a blogger, so she's interested in the business a little bit and knows how to use, you know, social media. And so she's got a good interest in both of the things that we have our hands on. And then, you know, he told me a little bit more about her. And then he said, and Katie, I'd like for you to meet Ann. And then he already had something written up, and I could tell that he was reading it, but he had asked me a while ago for kind of like my, you know, my bio. You know, when did I retire? What did I do? What grades did I work with? How many children do I have? You know, when did Steve and I get married? Just that kind of information. And so he let her know, you know, Ann is a retired speech therapist. She retired in May, you know, May 31st. She's a mother to 3 children. She and Steve have been doing this business for over 7 years. They're leaders in our field. They are great mentors. They are people who, you know, help their team, blah, blah, blah. And he said, Ann, now could you please tell Katie a little bit about both our product and our business opportunity? And then he went quiet. And so that's when I was able to have a conversation with her. It was a very nice conversation. She had some questions after I was filling her in on things, and it just went very well. But that was a very, very good example of a proper 3-way call.
Yeah. So that's just an example of what you do and how you do it. And you guys can have this for playback, so you're remembering how the system works. Now, we've talked about it before, but this is a little bit more hands-on. So you see the phones. I think for you guys, it's kind of a no-brainer. But for the people that are new and you play this back, you'll see, make the call to your prospect, hit the plus button, add a call. It goes to whoever you're going to have the 3-way call with, the expert, and then hit merge, and you're good to go. And then just, and if anybody needs our bio, most of you guys know us, but if you don't, just give us a call. We'll tell you a little bit about what we're about, although you probably already know, for good or bad. Let me get rid of this. I don't know why that's up there. Okay, let me click on. Why is my little phone up there still? Sorry. This happens to me every week. I always have some kind of a technology failure. All right, I'll skip over this. I'll leave that other thing up there. Okay, you guys can see our screen up here real quick, which is our front office, right? And I'm going to let Ann touch on this. You guys, some of you guys, this might be redundant. You may already understand how to do this, but very simply, if you want to enroll a distributor or customer, how do you do it, and how do you send a checkout or what's the term?
A shopping cart.
Shopping cart.
Okay, so the shopping cart I have used very frequently because, you know, I've had people who say, oh, I give out Axio samples a lot. People see me stirring up my Axio, you know, anytime I'm getting a water, I'm stirring up, people will ask me, I give samples, and then, you know, they'll contact me and say, I need to order some of the Axio. So I very simply do a shopping cart for them. I don't use the app on our phones. I'm not a very comfortable person on my phone. I enjoy working from my computer. And so when I get home, I will share a shopping cart link with them with the Axio already in it. So if you're logged in to your back office, you can go to the downline tab that's right there in the blue on the top. It says downline, and then it says enroll a distributor. And if you click on that, it gives both, you know, the information if you were to start filling out for a distributor, or to the right of that, it says, or do you want to be a customer? And you click on that and you can do the shopping cart. Or
right from this screen.
From this screen, you can click on join us. And so this is what I was saying. If you were to do it from the
Back office.
when you're already logged in and it says downline, enroll a distributor, this is what you're going to see. You're filling out this part right here if they want to be a distributor. If they want to just be a customer, you're clicking on Start Shopping. And then it says that we're the people. And so then all I'm clicking on, let's just say I want to do some Axio, the grapefruit, which is my favorite, and it adds it to the cart.
Simple.
So now all you have to do is come down here, and instead of going to checkout, if I wanted to just check them out, if I had them there, I could go to the checkout process and get, you know, all that information and everything. Or I'm going to just go back. Where do I have my cart? No, it's not in my cart. Okay.
Yeah, put a new cart in.
So we'll add the grapefruit to the cart. Right here is the shopping cart. So then I can click on share. Now you can either copy and paste this link, which you would do right here. And then I could compose an email from my Gmail account, or if I was using my phone, I could be copy and pasting that link and putting it in a text message if I wanted to do that. Or you can just email the link by clicking on that and putting in their email address, and then this is what comes up. You know, it gives, oops.
Yeah, there you go.
So you'd put in their email address. The subject is buy these LifeVantage products from Steve Knock, and here's the link. And so then all they're doing is clicking on that link and putting in their information. I'm going to, don't save. And then they're going to just click, you know, they're going to put in their information and their credit card information and check out. So it's just a very easy way to share a shopping cart, you know, with a new person, so that they don't have to go to your website and try to figure it out themselves.
Yeah, because I have heard that where people would say, well, I sent them my website. Well, that's a little bit cumbersome, and I always say don't rely on that. That's why I always talk about sign people up. The best way for somebody to know they're going to sign up is if you actually sign them up. The best way for somebody to know they're going to attend a meeting is to pick them up. So it's the same process. So you could do this same thing from your phone, of course, you know, through your back office on your phone. Also with the app, and I know some of you guys know how to do it from the app. We're going to need to look at that and maybe hit it on the next call. But this is the easiest way actually from your front or back office, either way. So hopefully that's pretty clear. Let me get out of here. I think we're good. And anyways, let me just unmute everybody because that was all the information we really wanted to. Let me unmute everybody. Manage. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? George, you might have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
I got you, Andy. Yep.
But I got questions not related to what you talked about, but since I've thought of these while you were talking, I'm going to ask them.
Okay.
I mean, without going back and looking, are there studies done with the Axio and autism? I know, Ann, you've run across that. Are there actual studies?
I don't think that there's any studies. I think it's all testimony. People will say it's the red raspberry. You know, anybody that I've listened to that has talked about autism and Axio, they're saying it's the red raspberry.
Yeah, and you wonder why, you know?
Yeah, it's and there is a lot of testimonials out there, and there's a lot of information, but there hasn't actually been a peer-reviewed study or an actual study.
Yeah, I've seen those. It was just I just ran across somebody just last night that it's a school teacher too, and she was talking. She deals with a lot of autism kids, and it's the first thing I thought of, but I didn't approach her because I thought the first thing she's going to ask, is there an actual study? And I didn't think there was. I know there's a lot of testimonies. So
Well, and it's
can gather up testimonies.
Yeah, somewhat of a new technology, and with somebody like that, probably what I would share with her would be Dr. The skinny guy, Pro 7.
Oh,
we'll think of it. You guys,
Dr. Brimhall.
Yeah,
Dr.
Brimhall.
Yeah,
Brett
Brimhall, and he had a incredible story about an autistic kid that he was working with, a young
I think
guy.
there's a YouTube video with him.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't go. I'm going to go do that also, but I just thought I'd answer.
Yeah, no physical study, but yeah, that is Dr. Brimhall, and he's a good guy, and he would do a 3-way call related to somebody because he's real passionate about Axio and autism. So.
Okay. My other question was about your subscriptions.
Yeah.
Is there a way? People have asked me before they want to stop them, but you got to call. Isn't there a way? Haven't they? I know I just checked too. Where you can stop them from your computer. Every time you go to want to stop something, it's like you got to call them. Everybody's like,
either call or email. You can
text.
also email or text.
Or text. You could actually text the distributor support number. And see, the problem with somebody just trying to do it from the computer, the company's not really trusting that it could be that person necessarily.
Right. So they need to have, listen to their voice and ask them some of their security questions, or it needs to be an email from the email address that they signed up with.
Yeah.
Okay.
But distributor support, again, you can either call there and wait, or you can text there and say, here's who I am, here's my customer number, and they may call you back, or they may just go ahead and let it go through that you want to stop it or postpone it or whatever, So.
All right.
Cool. Anybody got anything else? George, you got any questions?
No, I'm okay.
Good. All right. Lewis?
Yeah, good. Everything was pretty self-explanatory,
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
It's a good practice that I do daily, when I'm on the golf course talking to people, share a link.
Yeah.
And do they buy? No, not all of them.
Right.
I'm sure they look at it, and then hey, I looked on Amazon. I go, okay, good for you.
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
The only thing you could tell them there is that you don't know what it's going to be, And
Exactly. That's all I say. It's like, hey, look, Amazon has a ton of products. We don't even know if it's the right one.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, it's your choice.
Yeah, you want to save $10. Hey, and on another note, I got a message the other day from TJ. We, like you, we stay in contact periodically, and he told me we got to get together pretty quick. And he said, definitely. And I said, I'll have Lewis maybe reach out to you, and maybe we'll jump on a call this week or next week. And he said, sounds great. So.
Yeah. I sent him a text on Instagram a week ago, last week, before I came down, and I said, basically, hey, TJ, I know we've been talking a lot, and I know you're out there hustling like me, and I was wondering, what can I do to get you invested into the company so you can hit the ground running? That was my text. Let me know. I'll be around. I'm coming back down to LA for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he just basically didn't reply, but he replied to something I posted, and it says, great wisdom. That's all he said.
Gotcha.
Okay. So
another one that we reached out to is Jordan the other day. Did Jordan get back to you?
Yeah, we chatted with him, but we'll talk offline. You and I will chat tomorrow, so we don't have everybody, since it's recorded, we'll just connect. Are you out tomorrow? Are you golfing tomorrow?
No, I can talk to you right after this.
Okay.
Because we had extended conversations over the last week and a half.
Sounds good.
I had extended conversations with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys, we all set?
All right.
Yep, we're good.
Sounds great. You guys talk soon. Appreciate what you do. Appreciate you getting on the call, and we will end it.